Good afternoon. Be alive this afternoon. Happy Saturday. Thank you for joining. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining. It's a beautiful Saturday. Good afternoon, Juliana, all the way from Nigeria. What a blessing to have you today. All the way from Nigeria. Spirit. I feel a beating in the spirit. Oh yeah, I feel a pressing in the spirit. Preparing me for greater. If it had not been for the strength, if it had not been for the beating. If it had not been for the pressing into my destiny, He's preparing me for my greater. Preparing me for greater. I feel a shaking in the spirit. I feel the beating in the spirit. Pressing in the spirit. He's preparing me for greater. Yes, He is. Greater. Shaking in the spirit. I feel the beating in the spirit. I feel the pressing. He's preparing me for greater. Righteous, but the Lord delivered them out of them all. Because the greater is coming. Greater is coming. Wanna let you know. Greater. Greater is coming. Greater is coming. Greater is coming. Shaking in the spirit. God knows. Feel a beating in the spirit. I'm rushing in the spirit, preparing me for greater. He's coming, He's coming. My greater is coming. Oh yeah, my greater is coming. Yes it is, yes it is. I believe, I feel it, I know it's coming. Well, happy Saturday, and I greet you. For those of you who are joining from around the world, thank you for my dear friend who has joined me all the way from Nigeria. It's nice to have you, Juliana. I missed you and expecting to see you soon. But today, if you're joining us from around the world in Africa, the Caribbean, across North America, the United States, please let us know that you are connected to this broadcast this afternoon, School of Deliverance. Impact Deliverance Center is presenting our School of Deliverance. And this afternoon, I'm going to be talking to us on depression is killing our children. And if you're a parent out there, if you know of parents children who are basically misbehaving, having really intense behavior, and you can't understand why your child is behaving the way they're behaving, well, I have some keys for you today. I have some answers for you. I'm not going to keep you too long because I know it's Saturday and I know you have your errands to do. You have to run around. You have to get prepared for church in the morning. But I want to give you, I don't want to close. I did 2 days of depression and I really felt deeply in my spirit that the Lord wanted me to touch on a few things and to give parents a few keys out there. And that's why I need you to support these programs on a daily basis. Support our shows here at Impact Deliverance Center, School of Deliverance, because I'm going to bring to you a lot of key things that you need to know. And it's very important if I am taking the time off to bring those to give you those information, to give you those tools, then it is by right you give back reciprocity. So I need you to partner with me, support me. I mean, try to do your best to be a part of these shows in the afternoon at 4:30. Tell your friends about it. Share it on your page so you can help me to spread the word. I also want to give an announcement tomorrow morning on School of Prayer. Those of you who know, we have the School of Prayer. I launched the School of Prayer last week, Sunday. It was a tremendous success so far. So many people commented and so many people even in the background called me and talked to me and tell me thank you for the word. And tomorrow I'm going to be having a powerful teaching on prayer. Also, I will be praying for your needs and praying for you. And no matter where you are, there is no distance in prayer. No matter where you are, there are no distance in prayer. And that's why you need information so you can know exactly what is going on in your life, in the life of your children, so you can be specific like Hannah and know how to go to God. You can't go to God if you don't know what you're dealing with. You cannot just go to God and you go to the altar and you ask the pastor to pray for you. If the pastor doesn't know the root of the problem, that's why so many people do not get effective results. And you go to the altar week after week, year after year, and the results is not effective, because in order for you to get an effective result, we need to know what you're dealing with. You need to know what you're dealing with. So when you go at the altar, you can be a little bit more specific. When you're in prayer, you can be a little bit more specific to God. So you can get answers to your prayers. And there's a lot of reason why people do not get answers to their prayers is because you're not being specific. You're not going to God. You're going to God wholesale. You're not being specific with your prayers. So it is impossible. It is impossible for you to really trust God in the situation when you don't even know that there is a situation. And like I said to you yesterday, that demons, they can stay in your life for years and they can remain dormant for years. They can stay in your children's life for years. Our children can be born with those spirits because of a result of what was going on in our lives before they were conceived. So when you become pregnant with those children, based on what's going on in the life of yourself, in the life of your husband, in the life of your generation, those children can become your children, can be affected by that, and they can be born depressed and you don't even know they are born depressed. And we call it, like I said yesterday, depression can also be a generational curse. We have generation upon generation who suffers with depression. You have every generation that goes on that suffer with depression. You have the grandmother, the great-great-grandmother, they all suffer with depression, the mother, the children now, just like how you have generations that is on food stamps. And you have generation here in America. You have so many different generations here in America that has been on food stamps, and it goes from generation to generation. So the curse continues. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Danielle. Danielle, it's good to have you. Tell us where you're coming. Praise the Lord. Tell us where you're joining us from. We would like to know where you're connected. Mr. Monroe, tell us where you are connected from. We would like to know where you are connected. That's very important so I can recognize you and recognize your city. But so you have those generational curses, and it's a principle. So you have those on food stamps here in the United States. People doesn't want to work. They just want to be on food stamps. So you have a generation of them, a generation of demons, and it goes from generation to generation. So you can see you have the lost demon. It goes from father to daughter, from son, and it just goes down the drain. Well, it's the same thing as, okay, it was nice having you from all the way from Pittsburgh. It's good to have you this afternoon. I have some keys for you. I have something to give you. But depression is killing our children. And one of the first keys, so tomorrow morning I will be on School of Prayer. If you have not joined me on School of Prayer, you need to like the page on School of Prayer, because I will be coming with a powerful message. It's not about religion. It's about your relationship with God. And so many people are not in relationship with God. You're in relationship with your church, with your pastor, with the programs, but you are not in relationship with God. It's good to have you, Keith, all the way from Dominica. Keith Joseph from my village. Thanks for joining. Thanks for supporting. But depression is killing our children. And if you're a parent out there, you need to know that this is not a joke. And as a parent, you do not take this for granted. And I'm giving to you a free session. This is basically a free counseling session for you parents out there today. And don't take it for granted, because it's a free counseling session. If you were to come to me in my office, I would charge you for it. But this afternoon, I feel like giving you a free counseling session, basically a free diagnosis, because I love children. I know children are suffering internally. Teenagers are suffering. Children under 12 years are suffering. And you want to know why your children have behavioral problems. What is going on with them? And I need to give you those keys this afternoon so you can know how to pray into the situation. Maybe get some counseling for them. Find some help for your children, because we are the product of the first 12 years of our lives. I would like somebody to type that there for me. We are products of the first 12 years of your life. So anything that happened within the first 12 years of your life. So let's say, for instance, whatever issue that you're experiencing now in your life, it means something happened when you were a child, before in the first 12 years of your life. So first of all, I want to give you number one key I want to give you to look for if your children are depressed. And I know that your children are depressed, because I've worked with a lot of children. I've worked with a lot of teens. I have also worked with a lot of adults, hundreds of adults. And when I have to trace back the root of the problem goes way back. Their depression begins way back from their childhood. So one of the key things, if your children do not have a loving environment, and it is very important for children to have a loving environment. We were all born to be loved. Now, I'm not talking about basic needs here. That is two different things. Basic needs is when you're a good provider. You give your child house, food, clothes, shelter. That's basic needs. We are talking now about nurturing. So if the house have a lot of forcing and fighting and arguments and all kind of thing, and there is no love in the environment, these spirits, you're creating a demonic atmosphere for your children. And your children, they are young, so they don't know how to fight back, because they are not strong enough. So they do not know how to fight back. So what happened is unclean spirits entered them. So at a very early age, that's why children become sad. They withdraw. Sometimes the teacher will complain to you and say, your child is not doing well at school. All of a sudden their grades will up and their grades drop. Is because that child is suffering a type of depression. That child has been affected. There is something in the home that's affecting that child. Let's say children are very sensitive. They sense, they're like radar. So even if you're not telling your children what is going on, but if you the parents is being affected, that child will sense it. They will sense it. They will sense when you're not happy. They will sense when something is going on with the parent, and they become concerned. So because they feel that child is going to begin to feel insecure. So anytime you have a child in the home and they feel insecure, they feel like, I'm going to lose my mommy, I'm going to lose my daddy, my parents are going to get divorced because they have so much intense argument in the home, that is going to create problems for your child. And your child is going to have a deep void because there is no love in the home. They have basic needs. They have a big house. They have everything they need, food and whatever, but there is no nurturing. There is no love in the house. They are not getting enough attention. So that is going to cause depression for your child, and that's going to cause behavioral problems. So whenever you see their behaviors are changing, you know that something is wrong. And these are signs to look for. I mean, we can't help. I mean, I wish I could help everyone. We are believing God for more. I know deliverance ministries for years. We are believing God for the deliverance ministry to get into the forefront so we can really help more people, counselors. And that's what counselors do in their private practice. People come to them with children. They come to them with teenagers. But right now, we thank God for Facebook. We can really give you some keys. I mean, we don't have to charge for those keys because you need to know as a parent. You need to know certain things and you need to know how to handle your environment. Don't just give your child food and clothes, which is basic needs, and neglect the child's well-being. That is creating problems for your children. That's why your children look for love in the wrong places. You find young girls, even these nowadays. In our days, we had no idea what boyfriend was. We had no idea what sex was. We were young children. We had no idea what these things are. Nowadays, children are 6 years of age. They are 9 years of age and they want a boyfriend. That's crazy. They already have intense sexual desires. And that tells us the pressure in the home is increasing. Years ago, when we were growing up, our parents provided, to the best of their ability, a loving environment for us. Nowadays, because of all social media, the world is going crazy. Parents don't care anymore. They just give their child food, give them clothes, and they don't give that child that love and that attention that child needs. And as a result, parents don't even comb the hair of the children anymore. Everybody goes to the hairdresser. And combing your child hair for the first 12 years of their life, you're bonding with your children. Now, when the child don't get that bonding, they don't get that attention, they don't get that love, then that's going to create a type of depression. And children suffer intensively. Children go through a lot on the inside. You have no idea what children go through on the inside. And then the thing is, they don't know how to really express it to you. They don't. They don't know how to. They may say, well, daddy or mommy, I'm sad. I don't feel good. You know something is wrong with that child. Their grades drop, their behavior change, their attitude change. They begin to backchat. And then what we do as parents, we don't understand when the child begin to behave bad. We start whipping them. And I'm not saying that we must not discipline our children, but you have to know when to discipline them, when to whip them, and when not to whip them. Because you're whipping them when they're being affected. And then you're causing even more problems for that child. And that child go in a deeper depression. Another way that really causes problems for a child, and the child goes into depression, when a child is being abused and sexually abused. You have a woman, a girl or a boy, before the first 12 years of their life, maybe a family member abused them sexually, maybe their dad abused them sexually, maybe the teacher abused them sexually. Maybe somebody in the village or somebody, forced themselves or abused them sexually, mentally. All these things cause depression. And those things affect people even in their adult life. And that's where the depression begins, because the child gets molested. They never talk, because one of the things our Caribbean culture and even other cultures, they say whatever happens in the home stays in the home. Wrong. Because your child is abused and you don't want your child to tell you. So the child becomes afraid and the child will never tell you if somebody is sexually abusing them. Because you say whatever happened in the home, the teacher can treat you anyhow. And I remember when we grew up, we were raised, we were not allowed to talk about adults. We get a whipping if we go complain to our parents about adults. We were taught to respect adults. That is good, but at the same time, it's not good. It's not all that true. And yeah, we're not going to be rude to adults, but if an adult is affecting you as a child, the child has to have some kind of freedom to be able to come to the parents. And that's where you have the relationship with the child. That's when the child feels safe with the parents. The child can talk and say, well, daddy, mommy, This is affecting me. This teacher at school, this person is affecting me. You need to have a relationship with your girls, your children, so they can talk to you about anything. If somebody is affecting them sexually, if somebody is doing something, because what happens in your child's life for the first 12 years of their life is going to affect their destiny. It's going to affect their future. If they don't receive counseling, they don't receive deliverance, they don't receive inner healing for those wounds, it is going to affect your children. Sexual abuse, when a lot of children came to us and they came cutting themselves and they're on their 12, they're 11, and they cut themselves because if they want to feel the pain, because somebody is abusing them, somebody is affecting them, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or physically. Somebody is doing something wrong to them. And you need to pay attention to that as parents. That's why most children, when they grow up, they're very angry with their parents. They say, my parents didn't love me. My parents didn't care. My parents gave me basic needs, but they didn't pay attention to me. And I really want to stress to you, it is not enough to just give your children basic needs. You need to pay attention to your children spiritually. Because whatever comes into their life, that demon can stay there for years. They never talk about the abuse. They never talk about what they're going through. And it stays there. And all of a sudden, they don't want to go to college anymore. They don't do good with their grades. They become promiscuous. Girls become promiscuous. They break out in different ways. So our jail, our prison are filled with men and women that has been depressed. It's not that they want to do bad things to go to prison. It's just because they were depressed. They got something concerned them. They get overly concerned about the way their parents have been. If the man is abusing the mother mentally, emotionally, physically, and the child is in that environment and the child sees that, trust me, your child is depressed. Your child is going through something intense spiritually. Your child already have demons in their lives. Excuse me. And most children, most children run away. They run away. Your children need to be free to come and let you know what is going on with them. Your teenage daughters, in this last hour, I remember when we grew up, we couldn't talk about sex. Our parents didn't want to tell us what sex was. So we grew up naive. We grew up, I would say, innocent. We were innocent kids. Times has changed. Times has changed. So to our Caribbean parents, time has changed. You need to be in relationship with your children. Your children need to be in so close to you. They need to feel so secure with you that they can feel free to talk to you about anything. So we talk about unlovingness in the home, a lack of attention, a lack of love in the home. That creates major problem for a child. And even if it's not dealt with, they become the product of their first 12 years of their lives. When we go back to women who are involved in prostitution, young girls who are selling their bodies on the streets. So you have all different types of prostitution. Even fornication is a type of prostitution. You might say, well, oh, I'm not a prostitute. That's not because you're not on the street means you're not a prostitute. Once you're fornicating, it's a type of prostitution. It's a type of prostitution because you're giving a man your body that is not your husband. So you have different levels of prostitution. Those who are on the streets prostituting their body, that is an obvious demon. Then you have sophisticated demons. Then you have the madams. Then you have different women. They look, they're not on the streets, but they're selling their body for money. So you have all different types of prostitution. If you're a woman and you're just depending on a man to give you your basic needs, clothes, give you house, like lots of young women, they don't want to work. They want a man to take care of them. That's prostitution because you are not self-sufficient. You are not independent. So you are giving your body on a daily basis in your apartment or wherever to a man that's not your husband. So that's a type of prostitution. Doesn't matter how you put it. Fornication, that's why the Bible talks about it. It's a type of prostitution. It's maybe a mild one, but it is. Because you're giving a man your body and he's not your husband. And these things, fornication also causes depression. So young girls become promiscuous when they do not get any love in the home. See, I'm giving you a free session today. They don't get no love in the home. There is no love, no daddy's love, no daddy's girl. Men doesn't know how to demonstrate that love to their children. They are good providers, but they don't know how to demonstrate love. And that's a problem. In our Caribbean culture, in our American culture, in our Nigerian culture, in our cultures around the world, that is a big problem. Men doesn't know how to demonstrate love. They're good providers, but they're not good lovers. They're not bonding with their children. And your girls become the product of the first 12 years of their lives. And they're depressed. And they're sad. And as they grow up, yes, they may have a degree. They may do well in school. But they are hurting on the inside. They have issues on the inside. See, all to say, I'll give you one last key. Because I don't want to give you too much. You'll say, boy, Paula, heavy. Boy, she's something else. Another way to know if your children is misbehaving, is depressed, when you see them start to crack. Wrong friends, bad company. They're suffering a type of depression. They don't know how to deal with it. It's messing with their psyche. So it changed their behavior. It's killing them. They join gangs. They're angry with you because you're not giving them attention. So when children begin to misbehave, they are communicating to you that they need your attention. Mommy, I need you. Daddy, I need you. They need your attention. And what we do in this last hour, parents work. The television is the one that babysits the kids. The phone babysits them. The iPad babysits. That is the babysitter. Because parents go, they work, make more money, get more car, get more material things, and your kids are left on their own for hours, for 12 hours, for 8 hours. They are left at the babysitter for hours. These children are depressed. That's why some of them are so sad. That's why some of them don't even know how to relate. They don't know how to connect. They're angry. They're sad. And you think you're doing a good job as a parent. You think you're doing the best you can. But inside the child, when these children, when they grow in their adult life, or even if sometimes you bring them to a counselor and we start getting into the child says, I'm angry. All my parents do was work, and left me on my own. We worked with a young girl in Houston a few years ago in Texas. And she ended up being a prostitute, not because she wanted to, but she was on her own for hours. Her parents left on her own, running around making money, work, hours and hours, getting bigger house, more clothes. The child did not want that. She wanted the parent. She wanted you. Your children needs you. And yes, you have to work to pay the bills, but you need some balance. You can't leave them all day at the babysitter. You can't leave them all day at family members because you are the parent. Otherwise, don't make them. Otherwise, don't get them. Because they were born to be loved. Children are a gift from God. So when God gives you that gift, you have a responsibility. That's why they say children are not easy. It's not easy to raise kids. So you don't just go making kids all over the place. And next thing, you do not want the responsibility because God gave you a responsibility. Not just to give them basic needs, but you need to love those kids. Otherwise, they're going to end up behind bars. Otherwise, they're going to be stripping. We have a big percentage of women across North America, young girls, 13, 14 years, already in prostitution. They're already in the strip clubs. A lack of love, absence of love, rejection. They're depressed, they're sad, they're discouraged. They want to give up. And that's how they're breaking out. They break up in different ways. Rebellion, disobedience, they don't care. So whenever they start to break out, sometimes even before they're 12 years of age, they begin to get rude and disrespectful. They're being affected on the inside. They're suffering internally. They're being depressed. They're sad. Because I don't have my mommy, I don't have my daddy, I don't have nobody. Some of you make the kids and you throw them on your mother, you throw them on your parents. Your parents is not the mother. God didn't give it to your mother, God gave it to you. And if you don't want it, you had no business having sex. That is how I tell myself. If you don't want a responsibility, then don't have sex. Period. Because sex is for procreation. It's for marriage. So when you have sex and you communicate to the Lord, you communicate to the spiritual realm that you want a baby, and you get the baby and God give you that baby, you have a responsibility to spend time with that child. You have a responsibility to nurture that child. You have a responsibility. Otherwise, you are going to give God an account for these children. And our society is messed up with angry men and angry women, with depression, with sadness, with all these things. So we have all these things. The devil told Jesus, I'm going to give you all these things. We have all these things. A nice house, a nice car. That's great, because we all love nice things. But guess what? We lack love. We lack attention. We lack affection. We are lacking these things. See, these are the things the church doesn't deal with. So that's why the message I'm bringing to you through our school of deliverance, it's like bitter bush. You hate it. Half of you don't like me. But that's what God called me to do. Because you don't want to deal with those issues. But I came to save your children. I came back here on earth to save your children, to help you to understand the behavioral problem that your children have. It's not for you to scream at them, call them all kind of names. You are creating a deeper wound. You're creating a deeper problem for your kids. Half of you don't pray for your children. Half of you don't know when last you turn your plates down for your kids and do a fasting and a praying and crying out to God for your kids. All you do is give them electronic games. That's not love. That's not love. Bring them to Burger King. Bring them to Disney World. That's good, but that's not everything. They need love. They need you. That's two different things. And that's why we have parenting classes. And half of parents doesn't want to come to the classes. But yet still you want to have kids. And children are suffering. And they're hurting. And it's time we come together as the church, as the body of Christ. Nowadays, we don't even have loving neighborhoods anymore. You can't even walk in your neighborhoods anymore. Our young people are so violent. Our young people are they're so rude. I remember when we used to grow up, we were so we had so much respect for our elderlies. Not nowadays. People don't care anymore. Your children don't care. Your children are on the bus. They cuss in bad words. They want to fight everybody. They're rebels. You have a responsibility. You got to give God an account. And then the cops catch them, or the cops arrest them, and they end up in prison. They stay 9 years in prison. They become more depressed in prison. 20 years in prison, in jail, more depressed. And their life is over. Their potentials is gone down the drain. Their giftings that God placed with them is gone down the drain. So children, depression it's very bad. It's very bad here in North America. It's very bad in the Caribbean. It's very bad around the world. Children's depression. So that's why you are the product of the first 12 years of your life. And that's why when people come to us for counseling, or they come for deliverance, or they come, to do an assessment with their life, they say, I'm depressed. I don't know why I'm depressed. We have to go find the root problem. Why are you depressed? We find out that they were raped by their dad. One young lady from Cuba came to call me 2-3 years ago. Her depression was so bad, she was cutting herself. She was only 12. Cutting herself. She didn't want to live anymore. She was suicidal. She was depressed. She kept saying, I'm depressed. She kept crying. She kept saying, I'm depressed. I'm depressed. I'm sad. I'm not happy. I'm depressed. Why? Because of problems in the home. God wants to heal us. He wants to heal our home. Our homes don't have prayer anymore. We don't have God in our home anymore. The devil is in the church. He's moving in the home. He's moving in our community. He's all over the place. And he's real. That devil is real. I remember days when as a child, yes, we had everything, but our parents were very limited in information. And one of the things as children we never really heard is I love you. We got our basic needs met to the best of our abilities, but yet still we were sad on the inside. And if we were to be real, and that's why I tell you deliverance is for real, transparent people. I don't know about you. I know about me. I'm talking about me. I remember days when I used to tell my grandmother, I feel sad. She said, but Paul, I'm doing everything to love you. Your mom is away. I'm doing everything. I'm still sad. Because I don't have my mom in my life. I don't have my dad in my life. So I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm angry. And I used to be honest with her. I would tell my grandmother, when you see she's in the yard doing something, I say, Mama, I feel sad. She said, Paula, what can I do to help you? What can I do to heal you? I said, nothing. I need my mom. I need my dad. Well, your mom is away. Well, your dad is not here. Well, I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm hurting. My mom could tell you as I grew up older and I migrated to St. Martin to join her, I had gotten in a depressed state. I was already depressed because she wasn't in my life for the first 12 years of my life. She was away working. I was raised with my grandmother. So that created a problem for me. I felt discouraged. I felt sad because for the first 12 years of my life, my parents wasn't in my life. I was raised with my grandparents. So when I talk to you, I'm talking to you from experience. My own personal experience and the experience that I have on the mission field, working with hundreds of parents and children. The first 12 years of your life is very, very important. And you need to pay, if you're a teenager, a lot of teenagers, we have in teenage suicide. Lots of teenagers are committing suicide. Lots of teenagers are hanging themselves because they're so depressed. And when they get depressed, they just don't know how to handle it. There is not a teaching that's catered for them so they can handle it. Parents are so ignorant. We have a lot of ignorant parents. They have a lack of information. They refuse to reach out for help. And as a parent, if you're listening to me, it's time you put that pride down, because that pride will kill you. It's going to kill you and it's going to kill your kids. It's time you put the pride down. It's time you put all that stuff down and say, you know what? That makes sense. And begin to reach out for help. Reach out for help to save your children. To save them, because you cannot compare 20 years ago with now. Now they have more information to crack out even more. Years ago, the whole village raised us. So even if I was sad, I still get love and support from the whole village. Because the whole village raised us. So even if I had an absence of my parents in my life because they were away working, but the whole village gave us the support. So we had more of a foundation to stand strong. So even if it affected me, I didn't end up on drugs. I never used drugs. I never smoke. I never drink. Yes, I had my little boyfriend. We all know that. I told that to you before. But I never smoke. I never drink. I never end up on drugs. I was never in jail. I was never tempted because why? We had values. And I didn't have a whole lot of boyfriends. So please, okay? Only had three men. That's 3 men in my life. 1, 2, 3. 3. For my entire life. But I had a high school boyfriend. The whole village know it. The whole village know I had a boyfriend. Why? Because you're looking for love in the wrong places. I had no business with no boyfriend at the age of 14 years of age. I had no business with no boyfriend. The fact is I was sad on the inside, so you end up cracking looking for love in the wrong places. Simple. Simple as it. Simple. Plain and simple. I had no business looking for boyfriend. But there's a void on the inside and it cracks up and you're looking for love in the wrong places. And that's what your children doing. Half of you don't know your children because they're sad. They're on drugs. I meet 8-year-olds on drugs. I meet 10-year-old young girls already in prostitution. Tell me they have a deep, intense desire to strip their body. They're looking for love. They don't have no grandmother in their lives. They don't have no support in their lives. Our churches don't have no support, really don't have no support for our young parents and for parents and for mothers. There is no deliverance in our churches. Nobody has the tools to set each other free. There is nothing. All we're doing is just going after money, big house, big car, big church. And people are dying. Your soul is dying. We are losing our souls. We are losing our salvation. And we're going to end up in hell. You're going to leave the big house and you're going to end up in hell. Because we have no more love. And that has to come back. Love has to come back. The support has to come back. The support has to come back in our lives. So it was nice being with you this afternoon. I'm going to leave you right there. I know I gave you enough information, but you know what? Our children needs us, whether they're teenagers, whether they're young adults, whether they're children still in their childhood, tender children, they need you. I mean, you're going to have to do some arranging if your schedule, spend more time with your kids, more personal time, be with them more at home. You're going to have to give up that second job and be with your kids because you're going to lose them. The gang's going to take them. Lust and perversion is going to take them. Drugs is going to get them. The devil is going to get your kids because they're depressed and they're sad and they need an outlet to break out from the depression. So you have to give up a second job and be content. Learn to be content. Learn to be satisfied with what God has blessed you with. You don't need 10 bedrooms. You don't need 5 bathrooms. You don't need 5 cars in your garage. You don't need these things. You just need the basics to make your life work and to have love and togetherness and unity. You don't need a you don't need a house. You need a home. Your children don't need a big house. They need a home. That's what you had. That's what our parents gave us. They didn't give us a house. They gave us a home. And you need to give it to your kids because you're going to lose them. You're going to lose your young girls. Praise God that God kept his hands on me because my grandparents used to pray for us. You know, we had the whole village there for us and God kept his hands on me. He kept us. Those of us who were raised back home, God kept us. Don't come and give me no foolishness and tell me that you didn't feel like doing something wrong. Oh yes, all have sinned. All have sinned because all of us had that void. All of us suffer some kind of depression and sadness and discouragement and that lack of love and that lack of attention and lack of affection. And that's why some of you don't know how to love. And if you don't receive help, if you don't receive counseling, if you don't go through the process of deliverance, your life is going to be in trouble. And you will not fulfill your destiny and your purpose. So it was nice being with you this afternoon. Give me a call. 321-247-5685. That's 321-247-5685. Give me a call. We can go deeper. If you say, Prophetess Paula, my daughter has been depressed. You know, I noticed something is wrong with my daughter. She has been depressed. I noticed behavioral changes in my daughter. I noticed my daughter is gravitating to boys. You better save her. You better save her. I noticed my son is leaning to the wrong crowd. You better save him. You better save your kids. Because you're in church and the devil has them. Because they're depressed. Because there's no bonding. They feel insecure. They don't feel that my parents love me. They don't feel that my parents care for me. You're giving them things. That's not love. Things is not love. So you work. And on Saturday you go to the mall and you shop. Your children don't need that. They have enough shoes. They need you. Love, attention, bonding. Amen. Well, I'm not here to be like. I'm here to give you the word. I'm here on assignment and to do my job. God gave me a job and I have to do the job. And I know I'm doing the job well every day. I'm giving you the information, whether you like it or not, whether you like the beta bush or not, whether you like the pills or not, I still have to give it to you. I still have to deliver the word. Because you know what? I had to go through the process of deliverance and healing. I spent 2 years in counseling, dealing with all my childhood issues in Canada. That was the best gift I gave myself. 2 years I spent in counseling, dealing with all my childhood issues, so I could be set free to be who I am today. Some people crack out more than others. Some children is more affected, more impacted, because sometimes they don't have their grandparents, they don't have uncles and aunts, they don't have the village. Like right now in the society, I mean, I'm in New Jersey, and I said, my God, in this city it's so cold, and you know, nobody cares about one another. Nobody is concerned about one another in this city, in some cities. Nobody. Everybody just go, work. Nobody is available. Nobody takes time for each other. The world has changed. So people in the last days are going to die off of depression because nobody come to see you anymore. They just send you a text. A text is not love. It's not love. You have to make a time to go and check on people. Make time to go look for people. Make time to go and fellowship. A text or Facebook, that's not love. People need you. They need your company. They need fellowship. That's what brings healing. So, I tell you, the world has changed, and we're going to see more people dying off of depression and suicide. Death has set in into a lot of people, and you're going to hear a lot of people die off of depression, a lack of love, a lack of attention. Simple, a broken heart. They're going to be dying from a broken heart. Amen. So God bless you this afternoon. It was nice. Thank you for joining me around the world, from Dominica, from Pittsburgh, from Nigeria. Thank you for all those of you who have joined me. Continue supporting, continue learning. Be open to learn. Be open to grow. I know some of you say, oh my God, wow, it's amazing how God is using Paula. I had an open mind. I always wanted to learn, and I always wanted to grow. Even if I didn't like it, and once I know it was good for me, I was going to receive it. I was going to force it down my throat, and I was going to humble myself, and I was going to receive it and allow myself to become a better person. And that's why me being in counseling over the years, I had to go through the process myself. And God has made me, He has molded me, He has crushed me, He has fashioned me to become a better me, so I can serve you today. And I'm here to serve you. You can call me at 321-247-5685. Visit my website, www.Impact Deliverance Center. Save your children. Your children needs you. That's the best gift you can give your kids, is to save them. Don't just give them a degree and send them to school, because we're spiritual beings. The degree is nice, sending them to school is nice, but hey, when you put mess in your kids, you got to clean up the mess. When your kids mess up your house, you got to clean up that mess. When you put mess in their life, fighting in front of them, don't give them no love. They suffer abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, all kind of abuse. You're going to have to clean up the house. This is the house. This is the house. You're going to have to clean up the house, because they have the degree and they'll still hurt. They have the degree and they still smoke the drugs in the basement or wherever. They have the degree, but they have 5, 6 boyfriends. They have the degree, but they up and down with married men. They have the degree, but in prostitution. So it makes no sense. So, hey, let's get it straight before we end up in hell. And we end up with another issue, and we end up with another problem. We need to save families. Trust me, it's urgent that you save your family today. So nice being with you. I love you so much. That's why I have to give you the truth, because I love you. I love children. I love to see children happy. And I just love teenagers, and I just love you. And that's why I take this time to give you this word. And I gave you a free session today so you can understand what's going on with your family. So God bless you. Have a great weekend. Join me tomorrow on School of Prayer. I'm going to come forth with a powerful word to help you to develop your relationship with Jesus Christ. Because this is not about religion. It's about your relationship, your one-to-one relationship with Jesus Christ. So again, God bless you. Have a great evening, and talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Enjoy your evening.